It's an interesting time for business. Tariff and trade policies are dynamic, supply chains are squeezed, and cash flow, it's tighter than ever. If your business can't adapt in real time, you are in a little bit of hurt. So how do you get full visibility and adapt in real time? Over 42,000 businesses trust NetSuite by Oracle, your AI-powered business management suite. It brings accounting, financial management, inventory, and HR all under one roof. NetSuite is the #1 cloud ERP for a reason. It's your single source of truth, giving you the data and control you need to move quickly. Real-time forecasting helps you move into the future with confidence, and with AI built in, you can automate the busy work and focus on strategy. NetSuite helps you see what's stuck, what it's costing you, and how to pivot fast. If I were running a business with a lot of moving parts, I'd use NetSuite for full control over everything. Tame the chaos with NetSuite. If your revenues are at least in the 7 figures, download the free ebook, Navigating Global Trade, 3 Insights for Leaders at netsuite.com/SPI. That's netsuite.com/SPI. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Online courses are dead. What do you think about that?
I think it's not only true, it's increasingly the future in terms of how creators are using education products to help people and drive a business.
So I came out with a video not too long ago. By the way, Matt, thank you for being here. Why don't you quickly introduce yourself? We'll dive into this because this is a really important topic right now.
Yeah. Friend and business partner. We've been at this for over 10 years, officially linked up at the end of 2018. And we were cutting our teeth on courses back in 2015 into 2016. So we've been there, done that, seen the highs and the lows. So it's a really interesting moment to revisit a lot of it.
We've sold millions of dollars in online courses together. We have transitioned into what we now call community-powered courses. So courses are still there, but the form of them is changing. The old way of doing online courses of just putting information into some package to then sell and just kind of like let that be and you're going to make a lot of money is gone. Like, I feel like that's not where we should be thinking. So where in your eyes, Matt, because I think this topic is going to be really key for our understanding of where do we go? Where do we put our time and energy for our educational businesses? What are you seeing out there in the market right now? What changes are you noticing?
I think the big thing to build off of the big statement is that courses are dead as a business driver. They're no longer differentiated. They're no longer the really big value statement and the value offer to consumers and how they want to learn and develop skills and grow their own businesses and brands. Courses today are table stakes. I think another big claim to think about as you're building your own brand and your own business is that you actually need maybe a course to be there, right? To demonstrate in a certain regard your knowledge, your expertise, but that by itself is not going to move the needle for your business, right? You have to think about other forms of engagement, other forms of community-driven networks and relationships and engagement with the people that you want to serve. The product idea, that the course itself as a table stake, like it's like a checkbox that kind of goes off in someone's mind, like, oh, they're smart enough, credible enough, have enough authority to have this thing, but I need more than that to really say yes to that person, that brand, or that creator.
It's almost like a book. Having a book in your sort of portfolio,
Absolutely.
if you will, positions you as an expert. Okay, so does this mean for the beginning entrepreneur who's like, okay, I need to put myself out there, I'm building a personal brand, I need a course, even though I might not sell any of it?
Yeah, I think of courses as almost lead generation these days, where it plays into super fans and building of audience in a way that is connective, right? In a way that it is valuable to both sides of the relationship, the creator and the person learning from it. It's just not the business driver. It's not the driver of revenue. It's not the thing that's going to empower you to potentially leave your 9-to-5 job, right? And be able to really build your solopreneur business.
I see. Okay, so let's even go through the timeline. 2010s, the way to get found and even generate leads was through blogging.
Right.
And then podcasting came in after that. But that's how we put our information out there and structured it. However, over time, people wanted less sort of noise around that information and more specificity on the outcome of that information. So please give me something that helps me go through a process to then get a result, whatever that result might be, sooner. And so does this mean that we now have to basically give that information away for free in a course-like format?
Potentially, yes.
As table stakes?
And here's some really great examples that come from a lot of our mutual friends that have millions of followers across different platforms like YouTube channels, and they have their own really prominent, very authoritative courses and into shifts. The pattern that I'm seeing generally with courses is that they're moving from a bottom of funnel offer as like a product that drives revenue and they're moving up the funnel. They're moving more into middle of funnel from a nurturing standpoint. So it's free or close to free, right? It's something that is helping to deepen the relationship with someone that's starting to discover you on TikTok, on socials, want to better understand your angle and your opinion on the addressable topic that you're teaching. But that's not the thing that they necessarily want to spend money on. And it's not the thing that's ultimately, again, for the creator side that probably you're going to bet your business on. Yeah. So if you shift that asset, the course, and make it smaller also, we can come back to like format length and video production and those things. But if you shift it up in the funnel, that's where it's starting to get stickier. It's a nurturing asset. So if you make them smaller, punchier, more micro almost, right? Like mini course kind of style, and you allow people to further develop trust, because that's what nurturing is. That's what middle funnel is all about. That is the go forward strategic value of courses. It's middle of funnel nurturing.
So to me, it almost speaks to this idea that I talked about before, which is like provide a small win earlier in the journey. The small win no longer is, here's this blog post with all this additional info that you don't need and just extra noise, because there's A, too much of that noise out there, and B, it's just information that probably is just going to be surface level. Let's go deeper, but let's get you to a result much faster. For example, we have stuff that does exactly this, and we've had it for a long time. For example, our 100 emails challenge. We help people go from 0 emails in their email list to 100 in 3 days. Small win. It's basically a course. We position it as a challenge. And after 3 days, they want to go deeper with us. They now will potentially come into our community and get access to the much larger courses, or join some cohorts. And that has even once led to live and in-person workshops as well, which only happened because we were able to get people started, right? So this idea of something small but impactful upfront is great. And it, in a way, almost feels like how books once used to feel. It's like, this is the authoritative thing. It's the thing you're going to see up front. Like, I remember when I wrote my first book, Let Go, back in 2013, which actually you helped me on. This is how we connected, actually. You helped me edit that book. A business mentor of mine at the time had asked, okay, well, you're publishing this book, but like, how does it connect to everything else you're doing? And I didn't have an answer for that. I was just like, oh, the book is the product. And he's like, no, this book is a part of an entire ecosystem that you are building. What's step 2 after people read the book? And I didn't know that. So I had to build that out and turn it into a lead gen opportunity. Now the lead gen opportunity is not books, because again, I'm trying. The books are out there and still people are reading books, but even easier is to create something like a very specific course to solve a very specific problem, to help a very specific group of people, get a small win, and then go, okay, what's next?
Exactly. Courses aren't the destination. It's not the thing you're ultimately trying to get them all the way to. That is then, again, like an economic, the center point of your business model. It can still be a low ticket thing though, right? I think an interesting metaphor is perhaps to no longer see it as the destination, but a vehicle, right? So depending on how you deploy it within your audience building kind of framework, right? It helps them on that journey. It's a vehicle they get on and goes deeper into your ecosystem, which is a great point, right? We did this even back during the pandemic. We took Smart from Scratch, which is one of our flagship courses, and we sold and made lots of money even just from that one course alone. And we made it free.
Gave it away for free, yeah.
To give a tremendous amount of value, to everyone in that moment that was turning to potential different forms of making income for themselves and all of the scariness that was transpiring during the immediacy of the pandemic, right? Yeah. And we had dozens and dozens of thousands. So I think it was like 30 to 40,000 people start coming through Smart from Scratch.
Right, that's true.
And build the trust in us and begin to discover each other and the other things that we were offering. It just so happened that that came around when we first launched our first community offer, right? SPI Pro back then. And that was a tremendously value acquisition element for us. So the course became the vehicle, not the ultimate destination.
So do you think there'll be a trend of people who once had courses that they were selling to then start just essentially giving them away for free?
Yes, absolutely. We're starting to see some of this. And even in private conversations I'm having and that you're having, a really prominent YouTuber comes to mind that we both know very well, who has remarkable courses. And this person is thinking about taking their courses and not only going middle of funnel, but making them free top of funnel, going all the way to his YouTube channel, because the courses are video based, and just pumping them up there, probably doing some reproduction and slimming them down, but taking them all the way back
public
up.
YouTube videos that were once held in private.
That were once commercial offers, right? There were things that we were selling and just saying, okay, now they're all free. This level of information is usually free, or it's going free in terms of some of the broader trends. why don't I just get on board with that and not kind of like fight that trend, so to speak? Let me use it as an asset, actually, in terms of top of funnel growth for YouTube.
Yeah.
They haven't made that move yet, which is why I'm not going to share any names, but like it would be a big move. And if and when that happens, we're going to, I think, see more and more people begin to see the practicality of that and the value potential for superfan building, right? It kind of goes back to the framework, right? Like how do you stay current with what people are really looking for in terms of a relationship with you, in terms of content online? And I think that's the future of courses, is repositioning the value in an alignment sense in your business model, like more top of funnel, middle of funnel, and not so much what you sell and be the economic driver of your business.
With running your own business, legal questions always come with the territory. Like, can I use this contract or agreement? What do I do if a client doesn't pay? Am I even structured the right way for taxes? Instead of Googling your way through legal landmines, imagine having a law firm ready to address your business's legal needs without the sticker shock. That's what you get with Legal Shield's small business plans. Legal Shield helps entrepreneurs access real legal help on contract reviews, collection letters, business formation guidance, and even help navigating IRS audits. Members can schedule consultations, upload documents through the app, and get support from a provider law firm that knows small business laws in your state. Plus, consultations on taxes or trademarks help you stay ahead of potential problems. And if a client is late on a payment, Legal Shield steps in with professional collection letters so you can protect your hard-earned revenue, all for a fraction of the price of hiring a lawyer on your own. Go to LegalShield.com/SPI or call 833-570-9980 to learn more and get big business legal support without a big business budget. That's LegalShield.com/SPI. Still using a copy-paste website? Break the template trap with Framer. Whether you're overwhelmed by traditional site builders or frustrated with cookie-cutter designs, Framer gives you the freedom to create a site that's professional, polished, and uniquely yours. Framer is the design-first, no-code website builder that lets anyone ship a production-ready site in minutes. It's free to start, allowing you to browse hundreds of pixel-perfect templates or even design something on your own on a totally blank canvas. Add bold animations like appear effects, text effects, parallax scrolling, scroll animations, looping animations, and much more in seconds. The built-in AI handles the heavy lifting, generating starter layouts, and can even translate your entire site to any language. Ready to build a site that looks hand-coded without hiring a developer? Launch your site for free at Framer.com and use code SPI to get your first month of pro on the house. That's Framer.com, promo code SPI. Framer.com, promo code SPI. Rules and restrictions may apply. So to reframe what courses actually are today, they're dead as your primary business model.
Yes.
They are very much alive for your lead gen model.
If you're daring enough to do that, because I do think it's a daring thought still, especially for folks that are kind of OG like us that kind of came up on this and are, oh my gosh, like I remember the golden days and the glory days of this and what had happened.
Well, information used to be valuable because it wasn't there before.
Yeah. And you've always, Pat, led the way with this crash test dummy style. It's like if you are willing to reinvent yourself and do new things and learn from that, this is a bold move for a lot of people, especially again, kind of older guard, to take really valuable assets and repackage them and use them in a different way. I think those that are willing to give that a shot, especially in certain niches, perhaps maybe more than others, will find a lot of new value and resonance with a new crop of people that are discovering them. And I think that's how you stay relevant. I think that's how you continue to stay on trend, right?
Yeah.
With audience building.
I'm reminded of Chris Donnelly on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
He teaches on LinkedIn how to grow on LinkedIn, and he basically gives all that away for free. His slideshows and his PDF files that you can download. I mean, he's teaching master classes and giving that away for free on LinkedIn. He's got over 1 million followers on LinkedIn, but then people get access to that. They're building a relationship. And they're like, I want more of you, Chris. Let me pay you lots of money to get access to your communities and to your knowledge and your direct advice and coaching. So is that the new customer journey, is from course to, like with this YouTuber who shall not be named, what will that lead to then? If once what was being sold were these courses, but now they're going to be put more top of funnel and free on YouTube on a platform where, yes, you can get more algorithmic help, where does that lead to now?
The general pattern there, especially with top creators, tends to be a recurring revenue offer. So one version of that is a private network. formerly would call that community. Communities become really sort of an inflated idea. So it's kind of in that mode now where—
But we have community. That's
we have community.
Recurring
Yes.
revenue.
Right. So a membership model, a membership-driven thing that is a recurring price point. But there's different versions of these things. Micro SaaS, small software companies that are very niche in nature, right? You and I happen to have one, right? Called Fusebox. These composite offers, right, that are recurring revenue, that tends to be the powering idea because it's more sustainable, it's more predictable, you can forecast that out. And especially in the community sense, right, that's increasingly where there's demand to find more localized people like you, right, that are in much more niche topics that increasingly have a sense of like smallness to it, like a smaller togetherness to it. We have that. Our good friend Justin Welsh just came out with his version of that, right? Around bolder opinions, like in Justin's case, it's called the unsubscribed, right? So he's taking a really bold and opinionated, which is what works now. You have to be opinionated to penetrate and to stand out, right? And he's doing remarkably well. He's at 850 members already in 3 months or something like that.
What's the price point on that?
It's actually lower ticket. It's less about maybe the full scope of interaction in the learning environment, say, that we have, right? So we're very complimentary in that regard. His, I want to say, is like $19 a month as the low tier. And then his upper tier is called the Inner Circle. And that has in-person access as well, which is kind of woven into the conversation.
And that's much more expensive, I would imagine.
Much more expensive, right?
The sort of customer journey now is from the top, getting found on social and or YouTube or other platforms like that, not really relying on search engine optimization anymore like we once used to. Offering super high value by solving problems with these mini courses or some sort of program that would allow a person to go through without you having to be there, right? These courses are great because it's information that has a very specific result that you can get people through without you having to do any additional effort after you create it. You just talk about it, you share it. From there, going into something like a community or some membership, even a smaller level program, but then within there, pooling people who want to go even deeper with you, right? It's the ascension ladder for the relationship you have with the people who maybe once found you and didn't know you to now you're super fans who want to pay for more access to you or personalized information, perhaps.
Yeah, I think that's right in terms of some of the bigger patterns. And woven into this is the I think, important distinction between information and utilization or utility, right? So information increasingly free, right? Increasingly at least cheap in different ways, including with courses, like how to teach against that. But part of what's really special, we do this supremely well within our SPI community, is helping people take action, right? Giving them toolkits, methodologies, utility, right? Like how do you not just learn information, but how do you apply it? How do you get feedback? How do you share that work with others going through the same sort of a thing, right? When we run our accelerators around power up podcasting, around affiliate marketing, and all of our kind of addressable topics, we're helping people actually make progress, right? And then share that progress along the way.
And that's a key performance indicator for us is the results that people get, not just like how many people are going through these courses, but like the outcome of that.
That's right.
And that's what we hope to continue to, at least from our position and our connection to other entrepreneurs, to encourage is to, help people get results, not just like get customers.
Yeah. And then to quickly bring back in tools, right? Micro SaaS is one version of a tool. It is something that people can use, right? To help them make progress, take an action, and keep moving forward.
Yeah, and almost more immediately.
Absolutely, with the pace of everything, right? Like custom GPTs that are out there and, friends that have Notion templates to help them improve their organization and almost like their business operating system.
Jay Klaus.
Jay Klaus, exactly. So like these things are increasingly now like the business epicenter, right? To design a business, like what is your business model? Which I realize is kind of like a heady idea, but like how do you make money? Well, you make money from these things because these things are increasingly what people find the value in and where they are willing to exchange dollars for is programs and relationships and private community that I can trust and that I'm safe in. I can apply what I'm learning, make progress, find other forms of tools to use as I'm making progress. That's the big idea now in terms of where there's value. Everything else just becomes a lead-in, right? Like leading them in through different channels or different pathways into that idea of what you're building.
Where is your head for the future? So if this is the now, what's coming?
I think just more networks. So being a creator is awesome. I think the more that creators could even band together, refer each other as we're building more localized, smaller, more discrete things, ecosystems, communities. Justin's, again, is like fantastic and he's very narrow with what he does and doesn't want to be too broad, which is excellent. right? We have a bunch of other friends that are taking stronger, more narrow positions. I think the idea of like super teams, right?
Yeah.
Or like Avengers style, right? Banding together and having more networks. That helps sort of across everything, even going all the way back to top of funnel. Distribution is the word of the moment, right? Distribution is your LinkedIn following and your YouTube channel size. It's all of the top of funnel assets. The more that we could potentially band together, not everyone, but if you can find other people that are adjacent to you that you share values with, right?
Yeah.
There's multi-channel distribution potential that can lead into co-created experiences that nurture trust, and then ultimately into different forms of activation with different offers, right? That I think is increasingly the future, is like a multi-channel idea.
I mean, that's not anything new. I mean, like collaborations between creators and stuff has always been around, but I feel like with that word network, where it's more formalized, is going to be key. And, we've seen this in other pockets of creation. For example, I know a lot of YouTubers who have specifically, they have maybe ties to 2 or 3 others. They're always kind of supporting each other, linking to each other's stuff. I know like there are LinkedIn networks.
That's right.
Like private groups of people of however many to like go, okay, when you publish, I'm going to comment, and we kind of will just kind of grow together. The more formalization of that for your business is great. This is why relationships are key. It's why going to events is really important, right? Getting to know who's out there and understanding that. The YAP network, Young and Profiting, I mean, this network has brought together a number of different podcasters. And part of the benefit of formalizing it again is now they have access to sponsors and advertisers by combining those numbers together and kind of sharing and reaping those benefits as sort of a collective versus just like the individual trying to grind and kind of do it on their own.
That's exactly right. I've been spending a lot of time in the brand deal space, not my favorite term, but it's really fascinating. And we've done this remarkably well at SPI, and Caleb's doing a great job really activating some of these new strategic partnerships that are themselves interested in multi-channel, right? We have a great relationship with StanStore. We're using StanStore. That's also great. A utility, it's a platform, a tool of the future.
smartpassiveincome.com/Stan.
/Stan.
Yeah.
And now like Stan is building into what they're calling their dream team in terms of marquee relationships with creators like Justin, like us, like Ollie Abdal.
He was on Diary of a CEO.
Stephen Bartlett's the big one
yep.
from last week, who's like become a co-owner in the company. He believes in it so much, like it's remarkable, right? Yeah. So Stan believes in this broad idea too of like almost trying to own their own network. And as one like really my smart. Go-to phrase is right now is like whoever owns the network owns the future. So the more that you can try to build into it yourself or be a part of a network, that's leverage.
Right. Or your network is your net worth. Those kinds of things. Yeah. So,
and I'll slide in if I can one more quick thing in terms of the future that you and I have started to talk about, and we have some really fantastic reference points. And this won't be for everyone, but thinking about licensing your core methodology. We've seen remarkable examples like Donald Miller and StoryBrand,
yep.
right?
Dave Ramsey.
Not for everyone, but if you can get to a point with what you're teaching and how you're teaching it, that you can then become an enabler of others to use that framework with their clients and customers, right? That's
like a franchise.
It's basically franchising, right? That is, I think, a really next level business model idea, which again is nothing to do with courses. Like courses is maybe another vehicle for how you might teach a licensee or someone that becomes studied in your methodology. But the course isn't really the thing. Like the bigger, exciting, much more valuable idea on both sides of that relationship is I have a really proven OS, an operating system for something. Think Gino Wickman with EOS, right?
Yeah. Or Profit First.
Profit First
Mike
as well,
Michalowicz,
right? Those are remarkably relevant and exciting and big examples to then create a whole other form of like a network. You could create a network of people, say around like superfans, right? That are trained and certified in that methodology.
Implementers of the superfans.
And then they can go out and kind of wear that hat and wear that banner. I am certified in the superfans way of doing things, and I can help your company, your brand do that too. I think that is a new unlock in terms of how we think about the productization of content and ideas that overlays with network. Because if you can build into a network, and I don't know the sizes of the EOS worldwide, I mean, that's the company name behind it, or say StoryBrand, but tens of thousands, maybe not hundreds of thousands, but tens and tens of thousands of licensed implementers of these ideas, that's a network right there.
Yeah. So the courses aren't done. They're used in a different manner now. They teach the methods that inject itself into a much bigger potential ecosystem, whether that's other business services and models that you have, or this more franchisee type model, which is really interesting and maybe worth exploring. So let me know what you think in the comments section down below, or if you're listening to this on the podcast, hit me up on social media at Pat Flynn, and we can keep talking about this, because this is great. This is how we understand and start to unlock certain things that are happening in the world right now, is by having these discussions and just kind of opening up those doors. So thank you, Matt, for being here. Appreciate you.
Always fun.
Thank you, and you, all the cameras in here, and thanks to the Kit Studios here in Boise, Idaho, for letting us host this here. Hey, fellow podcaster, does this sound like something you've experienced? Record your podcast episode on one platform, download the files, edit in another app, then fire up a different tool just to create these social clips. Well, it can be clunky, time-consuming, and frankly overwhelming, especially for creators trying to grow. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about Riverside. Riverside is the all-in-one platform. Record, edit, and repurpose your podcast content all in one place. You just log in, record with your guests no matter where you are in the world, and just like that, studio-quality audio and high-resolution video. We use Riverside here at SPI as well now. With built-in AI, I can automatically clean up my audio, saving myself so much editing time, and it can even auto-generate clips to make promoting the show a breeze. And with Magic Clips, I can grab the best moments and repurpose them as short-form video, perfect for YouTube Shorts, TikTok, or Instagram, without re-recording a thing. So if you're tired of juggling tools and want a faster, simpler way to create and scale your content, it's time to try Riverside, built by creators for creators. Just go to smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside and use code SMART to get 1 month free on the Pro plan. That's smartpassiveincome.com/Riverside, promo code SMART. I get it. You want to grow your business, but selling at scale feels overwhelming. You're drowning in complicated funnels, creating different lead magnets, or constantly posting on social media. And that gets exhausting fast, especially when you're trying to sell to hundreds or thousands of people. But what if you could sell at scale with a simple, powerful quiz? A score app quiz or assessment asks your audience key questions and gives them instant personalized results based on their answers. Your audience gets to know where they are now and shows them the steps they need to hit their goals. You can set up a quiz in minutes using Score App's templates and have a powerful lead magnet that'll do the selling for you. The best part is your audience actually wants to take this quiz, and you build huge amounts of trust before you even make a single offer. No hard sales, no chasing leads, just value at scale. Get 50% off the first 3 months using the discount code SPI. Just head to scoreapp.com/SPI. Again, that's scoreapp.com/SPI.